Well, welcome back to my workshop. It's been a good year or so since I last did this tour, and hopefully you'll see this time I made a few changes since the last visit. The main one, I think, is putting this storage floor, loft space, whatever you want to call it, up here. I did that in February last year, and it's made a lot of difference because I can store a lot of timber and junk, things I don't need on the floor, up there. So ideally down here I have more floor space, even some more space on the walls. Machinery is pretty much the same as it was. I have moved a few things around, and I'll show you that in a second. I've also tried to clear some more space and create some more wall space, although I'm still sharing room with garden tools and things, as you can see there. I've got space here for bits of MDF, plywood, paints and varnishes, jigs for bandsaw. On this side is my wood rack, if you can call it that. There's not a lot of timber on there really, but that's where most of the long necks go. So back over here again, I think the last time was my bobbin sander over here with my offcuts. It probably was. Now I've got my lathe, if you can find it. Behind that, well, on top of that, is my disc sander, which I rarely use. The sawhorse is there, and there's the big bandsaw. Behind that now I have a Triton dust bucket, dust collector. That sits in between my vacuum and the power tools, what I'm using. It works very well. My miter saw is still here, I think. Yeah, I did have this saw last year, didn't I? It's my Makita saw. I still have the bike in the workshop, so I have nowhere else to put it at the moment. But it is handy to get to here and home again. Yeah, in behind here you can see where I keep all my MDF and plywood, the larger sheets anyway. Maybe not full sheets, but stuff that's too big to go on the other shelves. It keeps it off the floor, it keeps it from getting damp too badly. So moving on a bit further, there's some big lumps of wood here. A really nice bit of beech, so I can get it out without making a mess. You probably can't see the grain too well there, but it's incredibly well figured, even though it's cracked in places. But it's so nice and so wide, I'm still not sure what to do with it. My fear is that if I cut into it more, it might, well, the splits might become even more severe. They could end up as firewood, you know. A little outfeed table for my bandsaw, just bolted on. It needs a leg really to support it and stop it from sagging a bit, because it does move, as you can hopefully see there. The workbench, yeah, I mean this is the first time I've been out here since November really, so that's partly due to the cold, partly due to other commitments like work, but yeah, I've still got things here that needs to be finished off. There's a project there, you might have seen in another video, some paint. Still got lots of painting to do around the house. I'm doing something with my miter saw to try and improve the dust extraction. A few more power tools and things down beside the bench. A lot of damp down in that corner. It creeps in through the walls and under the floor, I think, but there you go. Yeah, a few hand tools on the wall there. Some of my clamps. Glues, finishes, screws, fixings. More clamps. Under here I've got a transformer for my 110 log tools. There it is, my router. The plane for some reason should be in this cabinet here, which is locked. So most of my hand tools are kept. This here is actually my mortiser. The only reason it's in two pieces is because it's so heavy to move on its own. I had to dismantle it to get it off the bench. And a few months ago, before Christmas, I built this kind of table to sit over the freezer here. So if or when we need to, we can, well, when it's clear in front of it, we can slide the freezer out and use it without putting any weight on it or damaging it. Because it is covered in paint. You can't see it now, but got some oil there. But yeah. And there's a pillar drill. Again, that's covered in all sorts. Needs a good tidy up around here really. A dust extractor in the corner, some more clamps in behind. It's a good machine that fills up quite quickly because of its size when I'm planing, but getting to it and getting to change the bags is quite awkward because there's not a lot of room around here. As you can see, there's an offcuts trolley for some of my offcuts I keep but never use. I'm sure you know what that's like. Bobbin sander, again, on this clean work surface. Not. Wood rack up behind there. Got some big lumps of walnut you probably can't see on top. More beech. I think there's some brown oak. A bit of pine in there as well. And there's my planer thicknesser, which, yeah, I don't have a lot of room to use it. It's one of these machines where you've got to flip the lift tables level down to get the planer or thicknessing mode, then spin it around to get it pointing at the extractor. I'm actually thinking of selling this machine and getting maybe a small thicknesser, a benchtop model, but they're very noisy. So we'll see what happens there. And then this thing over here is my attempted table saw slash router table station. A good idea in the making, but the practicality is I don't have a lot of room for it. What I may do, if I can finish it someday, it's been going on since November, yeah, I'll probably try and sell the whole thing and remake just a larger router table, because having one this sort of height, maybe slightly longer and deeper, is really handy. I use that a lot more than I ever use my table saw, for which I can always use my bandsaw as I used to. But yeah, all I've really got to do is finish this track off here, because it stops short there, meaning I can't use the fence past this point. I did buy some aluminium channel, and I intend to continue that along the edge of the router table here so that I can continue the fence all the way up to this point here for wide rip cuts on plywood and stuff. But yeah, that's the idea. Don't know what else I can show you really. It's only 5.4 meters long, 3 meters wide, and up to here I have it's a bit more than 2 meters, a bit less than 2.1 meters or 7 foot. Still good for me to walk around in, and I can do some reasonable projects in this size as well. But the rest of the roof is, well, it leaks quite badly. You can see I've tried to fill some of the gaps with foam, but it's unsuccessful really. You can see that those purlins there quite damp, and the water actually, I'll show you a bit of timber here, yeah, more timber storage above the, or in between the joists there. Something falling on the floor, as always happens. There's a bit of damp creeping through there, see, that's coming through from the roof, through the chipboard floor and onto that otherwise lovely bit of brown oak. I don't know if you can see up there. That'll be getting a ladder out, that would take too much time. But yeah, I've got more timber than I need really. Lots of softwood, treated softwood. I'm never going to use my vacuum extractor, and that's probably about it. A radio on top of the bandsaw. I'm actually thinking of downgrading and selling this bandsaw, mainly because of its size. It's a great machine, don't get me wrong. I love having the capacities it offers, and I can cut veneers, laminations, all sorts. But I know that one day I'm going to have to move all this lot to another workshop, and well, the thought of moving that thing alone, it's taller than me, and it's too tall to go under that door. Getting it inside the workshop was a struggle enough, but yeah, I just wonder about buying a smaller machine again so it'd be easier to move at least. But yeah, really, moving house is one thing, moving workshop, God, it's going to be a nightmare. Anyway, I think that's all I can say for now, and I hope you've enjoyed this tour. All comments are welcome. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon.